This is the body of Christ. This morning in this place, in this hour, think with me. This is the body of Christ. People standing next to each other and smiling at one another, giving a hug and a handshake and a welcome, encouraging one another, strengthening one another, journeying with one another. This is the body of Christ. So this morning we come to this word from God that is speaking to the body. To each part of the body, each member of the body, each place in the body, this word that comes from God Himself. Did you know that in here is different than out there? Let me say that again. In here is different than out there. Not just in the way it looks, although it's certainly the way it looks. It's different in what is spoken, in what is thought, in the perspective, in what it does for people like you and me. In here is different than out there. In this place, in places like this, in the body of Christ, as God gathers His people, brings us together in these moments, the in here is remarkably different than out there. In fact, what God speaks through Isaiah this morning, these words, this picture that He paints, this drawing that He gives us of how the kingdom works, is one of the ways God is describing one part of how remarkably different it is in here than it is out there. He speaks this word, listen to it, that out there, virtually everything has a cost. In here, everything that matters is absolutely free. Let me say that again, listen to this. Out there, in the world that you and I came from, that we live in, that we dwell in for 6.5 days during the week, whatever that contains for you and I, out there, virtually everything has a cost. In here, God tells us through Isaiah, in here, everything that matters is absolutely free. Now I know, I didn't fall off the truck yesterday. I know that this idea, this concept of getting something for nothing is one that for most of us is pretty doggone hard to believe. Oh, we would all like to. Where do I sign up? Where do I stand in line? If they're giving away for free something that I want or need or think I should have, well, let me say it again. Where do I sign up? Where do I get in line? And yet mostly all of us here today, we know, that's not the way the world works. Out there in the life that you and I are living in and dwelling in and abiding in and going through and experiencing, out there, we know this, almost everything has a cost. There is a price tag. There is an amount. It is monetary, or it is emotional, or it is physical, but almost everything that is worth anything out there, we know this to be true, somehow has a price tied to it. There's a cost. We think to ourselves sometimes that as we listen to the advertising of life, that somehow maybe someone has discovered something and boy, it catches our ears, it piques our interest when we hear that somehow something of value might be free. For most of us who are jaded by time and life, it doesn't take us very long to sit back in our chair and go, now wait a minute here. No, I don't think so. And we don't do that. We don't do that, loved ones, simply out of a pragmatism. We do it because we have learned what we have lived. And what we've lived is, if anything out there is of value, it's going to cost something. In fact, it gets to the point where what we're told is free for us becomes, well, what should I say, suspect. Either it's not real, it's a scam, it's a sham, it's a phony, it's a fake, it's baloney, or there's some kind of fine print, some kind of small print that if you put on your glasses, your magnifying glass, and you read it, you'll find out that there really is something attached. Now listen to me, either it's not real, or it is of no real value. Stood in front of congregations like you for 30 plus years, and boy, I've learned this to be the truth in spades. that we think this is our human nature in spades. We think that if we're being told something is for free, maybe it's not real, but much more prominent, and we all go there, preacher included, much more prominent is that probably it's really of no value. Maybe it's just like the fries in the Cracker Jack box. Really not all that special. We come into churches like this on Sunday morning. We listen to preachers like this one. We hear in churches like this about all this stuff that God is giving for free. And our human nature, we won't say it out loud because we don't want to embarrass or shame the pastor, but our human nature inside is going, now wait a minute. Yeah, wait, just a minute here. If they're giving it away, how much can it really be worth? So we start to think inside of ourselves that we'll listen to it, we'll listen to the pitch, we'll listen to the talk, but for most of us, in our human nature, now you hear me, in our human nature, there's always this rising up. Is it really worth anything at all? And yet, at every single turn, loved ones, I want you to hear, this is exactly how God works. Everything He gives for free. His love, His kindness, His compassion, forgiveness that is real and strong and unconditional, peace that passes understanding, a life in heaven forever. All free. Now you hear me. No strings attached. No provisos. No musts. No have-tos. No small print. No surprises. Absolutely for free. It's all for free, my loved ones, because it's already been paid for. His name is Jesus. And these gifts that God gives to people like you and me at no cost, for absolutely nothing, come to us in that way because His name is Jesus. With His life, with His first breath and His last, out of deep and abiding and profound love for you and me, He has paid for all of it. God's love and kindness and compassion and forgiveness and peace and a place in heaven for you and for me. Jesus has paid for all of it. That's why it comes to us for free. It doesn't mean it's of no value. It certainly doesn't mean that it's cheap. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means that we have this amazing God who has chosen out of profound love for you and for me to make sure we can have what we can never get on our own, and to do it in a way that we can never even begin to describe, by giving the life of His Son. So all these, think of this, all these gifts that God is giving away come to us in only one way. They come to us as gifts. They are expressions of His love for us. How precious we are to Him. How much we mean to Him. How deeply He has planted us inside of His heart. So let me tell you something. As you and I, in the course of our lives, in the moments of our living, as we are given gifts from the Lord, for absolutely nothing, for free. That way of God giving into our lives is, listen to this, it's an absolute game changer for us. You know, it changes why we live out our faith. We don't do it to earn God's favor. We don't live out our faith to earn God's favor so that He'll love us and forgive us and be kind to us and bless us and give us a place in heaven. We don't do it for any of those things. We live out our faith as His children because He already loves us. Because in Jesus, He's already forgiven us. Because through Jesus, we're already at peace. We already have a place in heaven. And I'll tell you this morning, loved ones, that absolutely inspires. Which means how God works changes what we share too. You know, in churches all over Lexington this morning, all over Kentucky, all over the United States, probably literally in the Christian world, all over the world, some of these churches, there's something like this going on. People come to church like you do, and they're told how they're supposed to live and what they can do to be God-pleasing, and how they can do this and what they can do for that, and what God expects of them, and how they can... Oh my gosh, and that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Listen. We share a God who is giving it all away for free, with no conditions, no paragraphs, no barriers, no hoops to jump through. God is giving it away for free. It is an everyday miracle. I grew up in a household that was profoundly German and therefore stubborn. It's true. Part of the culture of the house that I grew up in was, you work for it. You earn it. Come on, get to it. Laziness was not next to godliness. In fact, over and over again we were told, come on. And then I step into a place like this, into God's house like this, and I hear this remarkable thing. God is giving to me as His child, and He expects nothing. I don't owe Him anything. He's not requiring anything of me. God is giving to me His child absolutely, profoundly, lovingly, freely. Oh, good Lord. I know, loved ones, that the concept of getting something for nothing can be hard for us to believe. I know. And yet I want you to know today, for your heart and for your life, for this moment and the next one, that is exactly how our God works. In Jesus, we are being blessed, and then blessed, and then blessed again. And it's all free.
What do you want?
Isn't that something? On this morning in His house, this is the good news. If you would rise, please.